This is the Violent Professional Podcast.
You know, I feel bad sometimes about this podcast. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I am doing a disservice to the amount of people that actually listen to this podcast. Because Mark and I here, we record every so often. And I haven't done a solo episode in so long. If anything, it's more people now with the project we have going on. But I feel bad because, I'm like, what's the point? Like, I got so much other shit to do. Mark's got shit to do. And then I look at, I'll go a little bit without looking at the insights to see how many people are watching or listening, whatever. And then I see that there's a fuck ton of people listening. Still. It's like, on the main page, because there's so many bots that have infested the Instagram page for Violent Professional.
Social media in general, yeah.
It's like, I just look at it and I'm like, the interactions are so low on social media. I'm putting out content relevant to the fucking episodes that we do. And it's all, like, for the most part, only so often do I put out other people's shit that I use for a meme for the page, right? So when I look at social media and the interaction's so low because it's so hard to fucking grow on it, and then I'm like, who the fuck's listening anymore? We've got hundreds of thousands of downloads over the course of the existence of the podcast. But I just, in between the project and then work and going in and out of the state all over the United States, I just go, it's not a pressing issue. And it really isn't, regardless of who's listening or not, because it's our lives or whatever. But still, it's I look at the insights and I'm like, holy fuck. There's a ton of people listening that maybe just discovered the podcast. And when you look at the actual insights, people aren't finding it from social media. They're finding it in other ways. And
which is fucking cool.
Yeah. One of the most recent one was I found out that the main page has been propping it up even without episodes recorded.
Damn.
So it's not that many, but it's still a good sign. And this is what you want to happen. It's on Instagram, the main feed, or the main feed of any social media, where it's pumping it into your algorithm.
Yeah.
There's people out there that have an interest in stuff that the podcast is about or whatever. I don't exactly know how it works because I'm not a fucking SEO nerd or anything like that. Just pissed off all the SEO nerds that listen to this. But it definitely feels like, this is why I was talking. I was like, I want to do more fucking episodes because I feel like there's people that want to hear the dumb shit that we talk about.
Yeah. And I don't mind spewing it. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's
the more the merrier.
I had a discussion with somebody recently about this, and I don't know if I talked to you guys about this or the podcast, but there's people that will listen to it that tell me they listened to it and they found out about the podcast and was like, oh no, you shouldn't have done that. And then they like the podcast and they're like, when's the next episode coming out? I was like, probably in 2 years. Who knows? It's whenever I get fucking
whenever I have time and decide to turn this shit on.
But one of the things I thought we could talk about today is tip of the hat to Joe Rogan, because he always talks about monkeys. But I watched that show Chimp Empire finally, and I have a couple thoughts about it, which I think chimps are super amazing fucking creatures. Now that I actually watched how they live together and shit like that, they remind me of the human race, because that's what we are. I don't see colors.
Are you talking socially, right?
So everything, dude.
Everything?
From because they're super violent motherfuckers out in the wild. In captivity, what do? Most of they flip around and get crazy when people put their fuck with them out of their cage.
Rip off their
what? Rip off what?
Rip off their handlers' noses and fingers.
Yeah, dude, you can't own them. My mom owned a couple monkeys when she was a kid in New York.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I didn't tell you about this.
No.
So it means I haven't talked about it, right? So, we'll get back on Chimp Empire. But my mother, when she was a young girl back in the fucking 1700s. She doesn't listen to this, by the way. She just let me know that she doesn't.
Probably couldn't hear it.
She doesn't like my. She's like,
your vulgarity, Michael.
Well, no, she's fine with that because I'm from New York, so we grew up saying fuck when I was very young. But I was sending her stuff from like the artwork of the Mega Cosmic Adventure and go, aren't you proud of your 40-year-old son? Like, I drew some cartoons. Like, isn't this cool? But she's like,
You fucking nerd.
she's like, Michael, I've listened to your little seminar, as she called it. She's like, sometimes it gets pretty raunchy. And I was like, yeah, you probably should listen to it actually, because like some of the shit that I've talked about. My favorite episode that I've done by myself was the old baby episode, where it's an old man that breastfeeds a what's the baby that has the Benjamin Button disease? It's the reverse aging thing. It's like those, not vertigo. That's a different thing.
No, I don't remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Progeria.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a progeria baby that gets fed by a old man in a polo that has, lactating nipples or whatever. So she listens to that and she's like, "What the fuck are you talking
She just
about?"
picked the right fucking episode.
Yeah, I was like, "This has nothing. Those cartoons have nothing to do with that. It's a silly little series. You should listen to that." And it's even worse. We have
just turn it off
a series about these made-up characters drinking kangaroo jizz and it's a hallucinogenic drug,
I keep forgetting like how we got to that point, and it just was like so outlandish, but it all came together. It's awesome.
Well, it's insane because like it started off with nothing, right? And me going, "Ah!" And then it turned into something fucking amazing that actually has a storyline with the help of like keeping track of what we did and losing my mind half the fucking editing session. Like, anyway, my mother used to own monkeys until they get violent, and her mother had to get rid of them because they always.
You know what kind they were?
I think a capuchin was one of them, and then she had a chimp.
No shit.
Not like a big chimp. It's like the ones that the stereotypical like small chimp that's like looks like what you would think, not like the ones on Chimp Empire that look sort of like some of them look like silverback gorillas. They're so massive.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, and you haven't seen Chimp Empire yet.
No, I haven't.
As we've talked about.
I'll check it out this week.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like 4 episodes. I thought it was much longer than that. I thought it was a series, and I think they tried to do that like that, but it's, dude, they've been recording these fucking chimps for fucking 40 years or something like that. Like on old, like they started, I believe, in the 70s is when they started.
Group?
Yeah. And they grew to be about 120 chimps. And then there's other groups, and they have wars with them, shit. And so they play it up like wars coming to Nagogo. And it's just like all this music, and then the narrator is like, the way he does it is like super ominous. Sometimes they play music for when it's getting wild, like, and the way the monkeys do things is very human-like. They go on patrol. Like, literally, I don't even know how they communicate this shit, other than, like, they do this thing where they slap each other on the back, and the alpha sometimes lead him out. Sometimes he stays back, and they just somehow know, hey, it's time to go fuck up another tribe of monkeys. So they go out, and they know exactly where they're going. You see that they have trails built, like, from them walking down it.
Yeah.
They know where the other monkeys are. And from what I have seen in the series, they can't smell that good. It's like a human comparable. Maybe they can. I just don't know. I haven't researched monkeys that much.
Can they smell the blood?
Yeah. So they know where the fruit are. They know where the fucking other chimps are, and they have battle over territory, and they continuously push the boundaries. They have rivalries, and they know, like, there's some of the chimps that get pushed out of a tribe instead of killed, which is usually what happens. They beat the ever-living shit out of someone. They beat the fuck out of the ones they believe are, like, bringing them down or whatever happens. And it just randomly happens based on what I watched on there.
So it's like gangs.
Yeah, dude.
And their social structure is just like a hood.
Yeah. This may cause some fucking controversy or whatever. Probably not, because, like, I mean, there's more people listening than I think ever have. But they remind me of, like, a really... honestly, if you put them next to any, like... not prehistoric, not caveman, but, like, an old, like...
So you don't even have to go back that far, because what you're explaining is very similar to, like, what you see documentaries of about, like, Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, yeah.
To where these warring tribes are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Going on patrol, kicking somebody out or accepting somebody else in or just having a fucking war for no reason.
Yeah. I'm not saying that they look like
No, that's
people,
not what I'm saying. Just the mannerisms of their social structure.
Like when you see these tribes and they're just all sitting around, like squatting down on their feet and like they're squatting, they all do that and they just like have this social hierarchy of how it's like they're communicating without saying words, and they do make noise, like they're making different kinds of sounds to communicate somehow, and they have a lot of body language that you can tell that they're like responding to something that somebody's doing. So like when the alpha gets, like, he has to demonstrate that he's the alpha, he like starts freaking out and throwing shit and sticks and
who
whatever.
could be the craziest bastards.
Tearing stuff down, and it's as soon as he starts doing some crazy shit, like all the mothers grab their children and then they like scoot up trees and stuff like that at a blindingly fast rate, and the alpha's freaking out to demonstrate, I'm the baddest motherfucker here, which doesn't work when, like, say you're at like a food court in the mall and somebody's like just going and like running around and like tossing people shit. But it's funny because the alpha of whatever will freak out and start running around and just to scare the other monkeys and
to show dominance.
Yeah. And it's weird. It's like
different in human culture.
It's at a random time, and maybe it's not so random, but that's how it starts. He's just sitting there with his arms crossed, and he's like, "Man, fuck all these chimps," and he's just like, and like freaks out.
I need to let loose.
Yeah. So like you were asking me before we started recording, it's like, do they throw shit or whatever? I didn't see any of that. I believe it fucking takes place, but it's in, like, if you take the chimps in a zoo and whatever, and when they start throwing shit, you've seen the video with the monkey or chimp or whatever that jumps off, swings, and then throws shit at people simultaneously through the thing. That's like, from what I watched on the documentary, it's like a display of dominance to this crowd of people. So I think when they throw their shit, it's not like to, and I don't know, I'm not a fucking monkey biologist or something, but I think it's to display, like, I'm better than you. And these bars, if they weren't there, I would fucking destroy all of you.
Eat shit.
Yeah. So they know that they're smart in their own regards.
Yeah.
But in terms of their intelligence, it reminds me very much of like a bunch of like a group of people with Down syndrome that are just like trying to fucking yell at each other all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
So that makes a lot of sense though.
Yeah.
Because humans have how many chromosomes?
I don't fucking know.
Is it?
Let's look it up on my fucking Google box.
23, right? 23
They
chromosomes?
almost have the same amount. But...
Yeah, because 23andMe, right? So 23 chromosomes. So
look what's on my fucking Google image search. I was trying to, when I spell shit sometimes, and I'm like, did I spell that all fucked up? I spelled the meme I sent you guys yesterday. I meant to post it today. Had the word testicle in it.
Nice.
And I was like, did I spell that wrong? Because it didn't give me an autocorrect. And then I looked it up, and now I've got a bunch of pictures of testicles on my fucking... Okay. Chromosomes. Human chromosomes.
Yeah, humans have 23.
23. 23 and me.
So
yeah.
You double it up, it's 46 pairs of chromosomes. Chimps have 48. So one extra chromosome.
Yeah.
In humans, if you have an extra chromosome, what happens?
You have Down syndrome?
That's the running thing, right?
Yeah.
So when you have an extra chromosome, you have the same amount of chromosomes as an ape?
Yeah.
How the fuck does that happen? You know what I mean?
Is it the same amount? You got to look up the chimp chromosomes.
Look, I'm no scientist, and if I'm getting this wrong, don't fucking make
Today
fun of
we
me.
are. Chimp chromosomes. Chlorophyll. Chimps have the same amount. They're just different. You see this little split right there? It's like split a little bit over half, or maybe half.
Okay, here's what it is.
And gorillas and gorillas have more, and orangutans have the same amount, and then there's something else in there.
Here it is. Okay, so a person with Down syndrome doesn't complete the pair. So a person with Down syndrome has one extra chromosome, out of that pair. So
Yeah.
it would be like having 47 chromosomes as opposed to 48. So
Okay,
we have 23.
Yeah.
You double it up, it's 46 pairs of chromosomes. Plus one more chromosome equals Down syndrome. Plus one more chromosome equals an ape. So Down syndrome is one chromosome away from ape. So it goes human, Down syndrome, ape, which is fucking wild. I'm not saying there's a correlation of people with Down syndrome being close to that of, being an ape in real life. That's not what I'm thinking of. But it's interesting to me that there's a evolution theory of we came from that.
Because we're 99% the same.
And who fucking found that statistic out?
Scientists.
99%. What?
They got their degree on University of Phoenix online.
So
just like I did.
If I compare two things, and we have 99% likeness of those two things, in my mind, those two things look really fucking close to being the same.
Now people with Down syndrome, are we 100% the same as them or 99%?
Good fucking question.
So
that is
what we're saying is that while Down syndrome people, this is where the episode gets like completely shut down now. Can people with Down syndrome are the same as us, or they have 99% the same chromosomes?
Is it
just
99.5?
Oh yeah, 0.5. And I wonder which chromosome is the one that gives you foot hands.
That's a good question. Foot hands.
Because I have said this before. If you've ever dropped something that's close to your feet, what do you fucking do? Every single one of us in existence.
Hacky sack that shit.
Yeah. Like it's not, I can't believe it's like a new thing. Like when they were writing the Declaration of Independence, they drop the quill and did they like boot that shit across? I've had times where I've literally tried to fucking catch something with my foot and just subconsciously and booted that shit across the room.
That's awesome.
You do it with everything. If you're, for whatever example you might use, like if you're holding a baby and you drop it, you fucking kick that shit across the room. Yeah.
Just catch it back in your hands. Hacky sack that little head. And
I've never dropped a baby, but I've maybe come close and then maybe my leg went up like that. Where'd that fucking dog come from? We've got a bunch of dogs running around the house. So
so another interesting fact, okay? I think it's 114 or 115. So an animal with the most chromosomes.
Which is what?
Guess what it is?
Cheetah.
A wild pangolin.
A wild pangolin. Really?
Yeah. Makes sense because the animal's fucking weird. It's got armor and shit.
Do you remember when COVID started and they tried to say that it was a pangolin?
Yeah.
That's where I have it.
People are eating. Yeah. I remember Buffalo Wild Pangolin.
It's where, that's where I have the T-shirt from. I'm super distracted right now.
Pause.
Yeah. Pause. Literally, dog pause. It's like on purpose. And if we're talking about chromosomes,
they're recording. Come over.
Yeah, they're recording. Bring all of your fucking stupid ass cackling friends over with you. I'm not too worried about it. In fact, I'm gonna leave this whole part in because I want people to know that they're fucking retarded. They have those less than.
Oh, you said it.
Yeah. People will bleep that shit out. Like the bigger podcasts bleep out certain things, regardless if it's wherever, because they're going to get shut down.
Yeah.
And it's like
it's because they're owned, right? Basically.
Yeah, well, owned by BlackRock.
And Vanguard.
BlackRock and who's the other one? There's another one. There's three.
There is. I don't remember what the other one is. BlackRock, Vanguard, and something else gay.
Yeah. Oh no, we said a bunch of stuff. Gay, stupid gay, not
stupid gay, not
dick
gay,
suck gay. So with that, with the whole discussion about
chromosomes.
Yeah. So how is Down syndrome? How does it occur? Because I'm trying to work through this.
I don't know how it occurs.
There's a same chromosome.
It's just one extra chromosome instead of an extra pair of chromosomes.
Okay.
Because the extra pair, you'd be a fucking ape.
Oh my God! Yeah. It's... So what I think, and it's because if you look at the way chimps reproduce and they grow their population, they're all fucking each other. Like there's incest, inbreeding, because they don't. This is one of the things they're very adamant about is like they don't know, like the people that watch them know whose kid is who. They can, or they're making it up because the woman monkeys will fuck. I guess they're not monkeys. I don't know. I don't know that yet. I think they referred to them as I think they were pretty like
there's
open
a
about
difference between apes and monkeys.
Yeah. Again, my degree is from an online university that I probably failed out of. But they describe some of these chimps as like this is their father, and they give them names because they've been with them so long.
Yeah,
and they don't
they
give
can
them names.
identify 'em.
They have to wait till the baby chimp is like a year to give them a name because chimps die pretty quick when they're.
Yeah.
It's like it's not rare for chimps to get past a year, but it's like they have a lot of diseases and shit.
It's a high mortality rate.
Yeah. So,
it's a rough chimp world, man.
yeah, it's a chimp empire. They have kings and
those moms drop them and they fucking boot them.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
but they
dude.
catch them. It's wild, dude. They but they have a fuck ton of incest going on. They can tell that this is like they know whose kid is who or which, or they're just saying it. But they've been watching them so long that they know all the different characteristics and the way they act and stuff like that. Watch them for 40 years or something to bring us this documentary over the like now. It's like really good, but they show video during it of like when they started, and the chimps were all like cautious of them. But now they don't even acknowledge that they're there.
Interesting. Did they say how old they live up to?
About 60 years.
Damn.
Which makes sense because if they had modern medicine, they probably would live to be longer than humans. 60 is like the fucking far end spectrum. Like you're a super old chimp. You're not like. You had a relatively good life, but they always wore. So it's like, you said these old chimps, they're all fucked up, like missing ears and shit because they've been in battles and stuff like that. The battles are wild to watch. But anyway, I'll get to that. So the monkeys are all fucking each other. The chimps are all fucking each other, and they're fucking their kids, and they're fucking like once the chimp becomes a teenager, all he wants to do like a human is fuck. So he's like banging everybody.
It's testosterone. Just raging.
What I can kind of get from it is like they understand who their mother is, but that's about it. And so they kind of stay together their whole life of like a family unit.
Family structure and unit.
But the father doesn't know shit because he's fucking like 8 different chimps. He's fucking everybody. Like the alpha has the one alpha that they were like he spoiler alert, he dies at the end because he fucked up in battle one time. And they have like shame and shit. So like if like the alpha fucks up in a battle, he will like leave the tribe or whatever, or the unit. Yeah. And he'll go off into the fucking woods to die. Damn. And like in this particular documentary, like the one does it on the last episode, and then after a few days, like the alpha, I think it was like his second, because they have a hierarchy. He went to go look for him and then stayed with him while he died, and then he came back and probably took over. Yeah. And he wasn't that far from what I can tell. Those chimps are not traveling like miles, but it's weird because he went directly where the alpha went to lay down because he got really fucked up. He got separated from his main group of men because the men are all the warriors of the tribe, and as like
funny
another
how
tribe.
That works.
Yeah, and it's weird how they understand their fucking biological roles, and we just kind of just throw that out the window in the human race, right? But he found him and then he stayed with him while he died, and then he came back, and they understand what death is, but not the same way as humans. Because you see him when there's like another chimp got separated at one point because he was freaking out. They were about to get into a battle, and he left because he was scared. Went back and just was snacking on fucking fruit, and then an opposing group was like trying to build their like expand their territory, and they found him, and then they just beat the fucking shit out of him and killed him. And then they came back because he was near their like main camp, the biggest group, the focus of the documentary, and they all like, it was almost like a memorial. They were standing there and like they kept like hitting him to be like, why are you laying down? And then they just sit there and like they can't cry or anything like that as far as I can tell, but they were sitting there, like each chimp came up that was a part of the patrol party, and they like we're sitting there like you would expect humans to do, like be like looking over this, but they're not like burying him or like put him in a casket or anything like that.
It's almost like they have a concept of the end, but they don't ceremonialize it
Yeah.
like humans do.
Yeah.
Which leads me to evolution theory.
Mm-hmm.
You always hear that humans evolved from apes, right? And it's like this huge argument of evolution theory versus creation theory. And if you take the creation theory out of it and you're just trying to have an open mind and listen to this theory of evolution, how the fuck is it possible that we evolved from something that had more chromosomes to now something that has less chromosomes? And how are we smarter? It just, not that the chromosomes equal, brain power, but to be able to evolve from that, how are they still in existence? And I think I've brought this up before. Like, if we evolved from apes, why do apes still exist? Or if anything evolved from a single-celled organism into something else, if something evolved from a chicken into a dinosaur, why does the chicken still exist, or vice versa? You know what I mean? Like, why does this individual thing still exist if something else came out of that?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be stronger survives, right? And that's how evolution works, just over time, millions and millions of years. So if we evolved from an ape, I feel like there shouldn't be any apes.
Well, they are endangered, so they're like all of the grassland apes and whatever, they're all endangered. So it's like whatever that number is.
Yeah.
Like, even though there's like 120 in this one group, it's like this small group of chimps. There's not like millions of them running around, and they're all endangered, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Which is wild to think that there's, I guess it's like, the strong will survive, right? But monkeys are pretty fucking strong, dude.
Dude, I've seen pictures of a hairless chimp, and those motherfuckers are stacked.
Yeah,
dude.
they're all strong.
Chimps are twice as strong as humans, right? Or they say.
Yeah.
So if the average human can bench press like 250 pounds, chimps are out there slamming up
1,000-pound
fucking repping 425 like it's nothing. You know what I mean?
Do you think if chimps were a little bit smarter and they were able to get like gym memberships, would they do and they had social media, like if they could understand, if they could speak like just fucking dummies, and they're just like, God, man, I can't, I know some people, it's like I can't even have a conversation with this person. I've met a whole bunch of them actually, like years ago, and I was just like, God, you fucking people are stupid, dude. Do you think they would like eventually get social media, be able to understand how cell phones work, you set them up on tripods, go to the conventional gym, and just take selfies for their OnlyFans so they could show their monkey assholes?
Yes, and only if there's a reward system in place, because you've seen those videos of chimps like having phenomenal memory, and they know how to like do this touch screen thing, and if they remember this pattern and touch where these dots show up on the screen and remember that specific placement of those dots, they'll get a little treat, right?
Yeah, there's a Neuralink and
Yes.
chimps, and they get bananas and shit.
Yeah, so I've seen these videos of these chimps like half looking at the screen and remembering where the shit was, and then boom, out pops a snack. They're like, hell yeah, they eat, and they go on to press next, and they're like, okay, what's next,
Yeah.
If there's some reward-based system in the rest of the world, just like we have in the human system of getting money for our work, maybe chimps want to get paid in bananas, you know what I mean? If there's a banana pay system, I bet a chimp will learn all kinds of shit.
There's onlybananas.com.
Onlybananas.com.
That's probably
Only
probably a
chimps.
real website. I'm gonna look it up right now.
You fucking do it.
And it has nothing to do with monkeys, but they monkey around on it.
Or
I'm
it's
sure.
just going to be a bunch of chimps spreading their butt cheeks.
I don't know
open
if I
for-
want to do this, but I'm going to for the podcast. There's got to be
And only bananas?
only bananas. It's just a bunch of gay dudes.
Or it's just a bunch of
How do you spell
Bananas.
banana? What's wrong with me lately?
Bananas.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Gwen Stefani.
Can you? It's just a bunch of pictures of bananas like pulling down one side of the peel. Just
Yeah. It's taking a while. I'm even on
Nice.
Wi-Fi.
So, think of this way: what if we didn't evolve from chimps or from apes? Sorry. What if apes evolved or devolved from humans? There is a de-evolution theory, right?
Yeah. What if?
So what if everything's working in the reverse factor? So there's always been humans, and now they're slowly changing into other things, or did a long time ago.
What's the? Where is the missing link that they can't find? They can
Yeah.
fucking see a black hole and like
So what
starting
if
to figure out what all that shit. They can see millions of light years away. But they can't tell what the last piece is. It's like it looks pretty fucking similar to a
it's like-
human.
so like Waterworld, right? They think that humans evolved into
The movie Waterworld,
Yeah, the
World,
the movie
cult
Waterworld.
classic
Yes.
Waterworld with Kevin Costner, who
That's
is a
right.
fish person.
Yeah, he's got gills, right?
Yeah. Spoiler alert, you're a little bit.
Mutation!
Yeah, you're a little bit late for it. Actually, I use a Waterworld meme for the podcast
Yeah.
on social media. Yeah.
So, like, what if dolphins were once just a dude that just wanted to swim, and he just swam all the fucking time, and
Yeah.
then
The
had
Forrest-
sex,
the Forrest
had
Gump
sex
of-
with this chick that liked to swim all the time, and it just kept having sex in that family, and got lots of chromosomes that mixed up and became a fucking dolphin.
we
Or a
do
manatee.
know that through our academic research that pirates used to fuck manatees because their pussies are exactly the same as humans. Closer, I would say closer, not from experience, although it sounds very much like it's experience, but
Fucking manatee rape.
they are closer to a human puss than a goat's closer to a human, which they say that a goat pussy is like fantastico. they like people that have fucked goats in third world countries, and I'm sure that people fuck goats here. They say it's
Man.
exactly the same as
That's wild.
So if manatees are supposed to be closer, you know. So I think that if you're talking about de-evolution, you know, evolution is through like, however this I don't know, but
It
it's
has
like
to do
they
with the
say it just
chromosomes.
fucking happens.
has to do with the chromosomes. How does this work? How does this fucking work? If a human evolved from a chimpanzee or from an ape, right? There's a certain amount of chromosomes. If those chromosome numbers don't match, and the offspring does somehow miraculously come out, it'd be infertile
Yeah,
because your chromosomes have to match in order to reproduce.
I think that maybe, you know, you can't mate with a horse and have a fucking horseman.
It'd be fucking awesome, but
Maybe we did so much damage and we fucking fucked so many animals. Like that's what we were doing in caveman times, not in cowboy times or pirate times, but in like the caveman times, we were just fucking everything to where we altered the DNA so much that the sequences don't line up, and now it's like the reason things exist because humans were the first fucking thing here seeded by aliens that they just want to reach out and talk to us, but then Congress is fucking it up because they're like, no, they don't, because those people are out fucking animals still. You know what I mean? Is that so wrong to say?
Back in like the 1920s, I know that like Nazis did and Russians did all kinds of these studies.
Chinese do it. The Chinese do it still to this day.
Humanzees is what they would call them.
Yeah.
Humanzees. So they want to mix that DNA of a human and a chimpanzee, but you couldn't create a baby like that, or fucking could you? And they just didn't tell us. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't want
And who is they?
And who is they?
Who is they?
New World Order.
Yeah.
Damn it. They want to just make humanzees
Yeah.
everywhere.
That's why they're getting rid of like Yellowstone. You can't camp in any place now.
So
They got rid of all these things just so you could look at the pretty scenery instead of taking fucking social media shots and then linking it,
And then
link in
leaving.
bio.
Oh, park's closing. Stupid.
Yeah. That's a subject we could get into about like the fucking Yellowstone. I've seen some of it. It's like I plan each year I want to go to Yellowstone because it's pretty close to us.
Yeah.
It's driving distance for sure. I mean, anything is really at this point in my life driving distance. It's like, can you drive there? Yeah, I've fucking driven 32 hours multiple times a year. Like it's stupid, but yeah. So like, maybe humans are the issue, and Bill Gates is right. We need to get rid of him because he understands. Like he does look like he fucks bugs. Like he's the type of dude
bugs.
that would take his fucking shriveled old penis and put like cockroaches in him. But like, maybe we fucked up everything by fucking all these different kinds of animals. And now that's why. And the beautiful part of that is, if you could have any silver lining of the fact that humans fuck animals, is that now we have all these different species.
Yeah. So think of this weird concept of like, what if humans were so in tune with everything on Earth, with other organisms, that we could procreate? And like, how the fuck did an octopus come about? Like somebody's fucking a mollusk, and then that mollusk fucks like a seahorse, and then boom, out pops this fucking octopus with all these tentacles and shit.
On that note, what animal would you fuck?
Another human. I don't want to put my dick in any animal.
I thought you were going to say some animal, because I was going to use that and be like, well, I've got one right here. Let's turn this podcast.
We just so happen to have...
Follow us on Patreon. Now you can see the video.
Watch Mark fuck this wild animal.
Yeah, what wild animal?
Oh, man. So...
The common one is like people like let dogs lick their penises.
I don't want a dog to lick my penis.
What if it's a really hot dog?
What if the... Hot dog. What if the dog bites your dick off? Then you're fucked.
I feel like if a dog's biting your dick, you gotta kind of let it happen too. There's ways to get out of that.
That's scary, dude.
Yeah,
that's fucking scary.
So I've got 2 Malinois.
I'd like to keep my penis intact, so no dogs around this penis.
I've got 2 Malinois, and they just inherently, because they're so close to fucking wolf, they get super aggressive sometimes, and I am the fucking alpha. So, like, I demonstrate dominance to them, and I have to on the regular. Not going to get into what that dominance is.
You just walk into that room, and you just start throwing shit around. And
I keep, like, trees and all kinds of vegetation in there so I can throw it like the monkeys. Just to demonstrate dominance, and then they, like, go in their kennels, and they're like, oh, man, he's fucking angry again. But I couldn't, like... Seeing how they attack shit sometimes, like cardboard boxes or like sticks or something like that, it's like, bro, they would rip your dick off in a second.
I mean, people that I've seen all these documentaries and stuff about people who had owned chimps in the past or even recently that have just had their faces ripped off and chewed up and their fingers bitten off, appendages gone from these chimps just like snapping at a moment's notice. Oh, I've had my chimp for 15 years.
We were
and
family.
All of a sudden this, we were on a picnic, and then a bee started flying around and the chimp ripped my face off.
Yeah.
And the person has like a plastic nose and like missing half their face.
Yeah.
I'm like, how could you fucking live like that knowing that something's going to kill you in an instant, dude?
There's near my house in Arkansas, when I drive into work, there's a house that is like a bigger house, because the houses there are pretty big and nice. People think everybody lives there with like dirt floors and shit, but it's actually a really nice state. I love it when I get to go there. But there's like this big house that's on a hill right before you make the main road. And I believe that they have a monkey of some sort, because on the back of their house, where, like, have you seen in Florida where they have like their pools fenced in and shit like that? Yeah. And so the gators don't get in, the snakes and all the fucking bugs and shit like that. Mm-hmm. It looks like that, but they don't have a pool back there. There's like a bunch of fucking, like, it looks like a monkey zoo in the back. And I think that you can only kind of see as you go by. I've slowed down so I can look in, but there's no monkeys out there. There's nothing out there. But it's definitely a cage for something. Maybe they have a bunch of weird kids.
There is an account that I saw on Instagram that I followed for quite a while. Something Winston. It's about some kind of like spider monkey, right?
Yeah.
And this dude like rehabilitates and raises spider monkeys. Spider Monkey Winston might be the name of the fucking page. But
shout out to Spider Monkey Winston.
They like wear diapers and shit so they can just be around all the time and not have to. And he changes them and bathes them and everything. And his backyard, he showed that before, and this would be quite a fucking coincidence. But I think the dude lives in Arkansas, which would be wild if that's his house.
It might. I mean, it might be.
Because I remember something vague about him being in Arkansas, and they had like the state would come out and inspect his place to make sure it was up to code and stuff. And he has this huge cage thing off the back porch of his house, so they could be outside, which is kind of cool.
Is it? Have you seen the house? Does it look like really nice brick or whatever?
Yeah, I could probably. Well, I don't know. I don't think I've seen the house, but
I'd be able to tell you if it was that. But dude, Arkansas, you can own anything. They fucking sell cheetahs and shit there, which cheetahs are like apparently really nice to have.
Yeah, Spider Monkey Winston.
Let me see.
trying to find a picture of the. I mean, all the stuff is basically the inside of the house.
Yeah.
But I remember a post about the backyard, and he had some shit set up. It was pretty cool.
This house is like
Scroll it.
house is weird because it's like a really nice house. And I say that, but there's like that is not it.
Okay.
No,
Would have been cool.
All
Would have
the
been a cool story.
all
Fuck
the
that one
all
up.
the trim. No, it's fine because it's like they have a thing on the back, but all the it looks like they took like 4x4s, like the posts,
Yeah.
and that's what all the corners and
Oh,
edges
wow.
are made, and then it's
Interesting.
like fence like that, but it's like grates like that, so it's like maybe
They
a
probably have some
3-inch.
fucking huge cat or something. Like,
Yeah, maybe, but
They
it
got a
looks like
liger.
a monkey enclosure. I've never seen anything back there.
Yeah.
But that house, like I say, it's nice, but they
It's
have
for their son.
yeah. That's where the whole chromosome discussion comes in. No, the house is like really nice. Big ass it's weird because it's just off the road, but then it's like fancy house, but then like a couple of the windows have plywood over it. I don't know if if they have a monkey in there busting out windows and
Dude,
shit like
it's
that.
getting aggressive, just throwing shit.
Yeah. And then they have this house isn't, it's like in Arkansas, it's probably $1 million for the house, which there is like, it's a fucking huge house.
Yeah.
But then they have shitty cars in the driveway, like 2 cars, and they have a detached garage that is nice too. Like the whole fucking property is nice, and somebody's living there because the grass is always cut. Aside from the 1 or 2 windows that have plywood over them, that could be to keep their kid inside.
So
But
think about like you got people with Down syndrome that have the 1 extra chromosome. You have apes that have the extra pair of chromosome. What happens with like people that are inbred, like humans? If you got inbreeding that happens in the wild with wild animals, sometimes there comes up some kind of disability deformity.
yeah,
Humans, same thing, right? But the mannerisms between apes and people that have been inbred for a long time are very similar. Looks, not so much. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes.
Actually, maybe, yeah. I can see that. So inbred people. So remember the ones in West Virginia, the family called like the Whitakers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So their manner, they grunt and make noises to communicate. That's
Yeah, yeah.
It's just how they talk. Their mannerisms, scratching and their body language, very similar to an ape, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion. What if apes are just extremely inbred people?
That's what goes back to what we're saying about like maybe humans were the first ones.
Yeah.
We fucked everything. And because if going on the fucking chimps, they all fuck their kids and shit.
Yeah.
Like the kids.
It just
well,
continues.
Yeah, like, maybe they could be making beautiful art today, but they don't. They just fucking war with each other because they're so fucking inbred, and they stay that way because they keep fucking each other's kids.
It's like to keep.
It's not like they're going to a social scene and like meeting. Like sometimes they
They're
go
not
to
online
different
dating.
tribes and then they steal the women and shit like
Yeah.
that.
Which
but they're all related.
Which might be on purpose to keep their bloodline from getting deformed or causing too many deformities.
Maybe they have to.
Maybe they have to. Because over time, you're going to get so much inbreeding done that it creates so much ridiculousness, and they can't function anymore. They come out and they're just like, they got 5 legs and they just can't fucking move anymore.
Yeah, it could be that
that's where all the tentacles come from on the octopus.
Yeah. Okay.
It's happened so much. It's got 8 legs.
Yeah. There's also thoughts that are aliens, if anything is,
Yeah,
like sea
yeah.
creatures or...
But they only live for like a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
Very short lifespan.
I mean...
Here, anyways.
How do they find a mate in that time?
Some of them
We've got a
don't.
lot of questions and zero answers.
Octopi lay a whole lot of fucking eggs. I know that.
That's so weird.
And they're all connected. They look like seaweed and shit. Super weird.
The fact that people lay eggs and animals lay eggs is just weird to me because I eat eggs. And I'm like... Could you eat an octopus egg if it wasn't like
It's a little
fertilized?
different than a bird egg. But
Has anybody? I'm sure somebody's eaten a octopus egg.
I mean,
before.
I've had turtle eggs. It's a little weird. They're
like
soft.
unfertilized. Turtle
Straight
egg?
out of the turtle, bro. I mean, not like they came out.
You
and
had
I
your
just popped
mouth-
It, it
you had
was
your-
cooked.
Okay. You were in the sand, buried in the sand,
I
and
dug
while
one
it was,
up.
Blah.
Oh, turtle backed up over my mouth and just dropped a few eggs in.
You seen a turtle lay eggs? It's like a tube that
Yeah,
comes out.
yeah.
It's like you're just mouth on the tube getting all the eggs because they're soft, right? When they come out.
Yeah, dude. It's like sucking the boba from a bubble tea.
Yeah.
Through the straw.
It's like you'd be the next liver man, but you'd be turtle man, and it's just like this horrendous scene of you just sucking out turtle eggs,
Oh,
hundreds of them,
man.
a belly full of fucking soft turtle eggs, not even chewed up, just like
Oh, that's disgusting.
yeah, of course it is. That's why you shouldn't have done that.
No.
You shouldn't have done that. So I think there's definitely we've discovered some scientific theories here because theories are like whatever you think, right?
Yeah, yeah. You can have all kinds of theories.
I think that monkeys are so inbred or chimps are so inbred, and there's no other explanation for why they look so weird and they can't progress. Some of them learn how to use tools and spears and shit to fish.
Or maybe they had that all along. Because
They did.
we had tools.
Yeah, so they're learning from us.
And it's funny because, like, humans came around and discovered chimpanzees and started looking at them and recording them and monitoring them. What makes you think that those chimps weren't watching the humans and seeing, like, oh, that guy has a stick. I wonder what he can do with that. And dude's, like, has a screwdriver on his camera. The chimp's like, oh, maybe he's looking for food inside that contraption. So he's, like, trying it himself. Who knows, man?
Yeah.
Who knows?
They do. I mean, these ones did use sticks to get ants and shit.
Yeah. So what
How
if
did they fucking know that?
maybe they thought that humans showed them something, you know, or maybe
Yeah.
maybe a human did show them something. Who the fuck knows?
Listen, you fucking asshole. Here's how you get ants.
So you could do this a whole lot easier, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crows do the same thing. Crows use tools, and people are like, "Oh, that's a sign of intelligence. Animals using tools." What if they already knew how to use them because they just all came from humans?
Yeah. You know, with owning stuff, you can own you've seen the ravens that have the white neck?
Yeah.
You can own those legally, but you can't own a raven or a crow.
It's so weird.
It's like, what's the fucking difference? Is there more of them or something like that? I mean, this state is like you can barely own cats and dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't own like anything crazy in Washington State, which is weird. In Arkansas, it's just like
Yeah, you could have raccoons, possums.
yeah, you can have all of them. Possums are actually really awesome.
Awesome
The tail is weird if you touch it. It's like a fucking scaly snake, but they're like actually awesome.
Pets in general.
It's hard to tell if they actually love humans, but they'll like. There was one at this party. Just I was at one of my friends over there. One of their friends was. We all lived in the neighborhood. We'd hang out on like Friday nights around a campfire in front of his house, and they had a possum that just walk up to you all slow and shit, and use its fucking old man hands. Because if you ever see their hands, they look like human hands.
Yeah.
And they
long
just
nails.
crawl up on there and then sit on your lap and shit, and they'll crawl like the owner of them. They'd crawl under his shirt and go to sleep and shit. It's weird, like a little
funny.
pouch.
Have you ever seen videos of like a possum carrying all its babies?
On their back, right?
Just there's like 9 of them just fucking latched on, and it's walking. It just looks like it has a bunch of eyes when it's shining in the dark.
Yeah.
It's so creepy.
That's so weird. Animals are weird.
They are. Maybe they came from us.
And that's the closing of this episode. The truth of all evolution comes from the fact that humans fucked all animals and we were here first. No one's talking about that. Everyone's focused on these
Just
fucking
so much inbreeding that it just happened.
everyone's focused on
Turn
these
into
fucking
animals.
alien invasion happening currently. Government's trying to shut it down. But when it all boils down, we are the first things that existed and everything came from us. And we came in everything. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So with that, you have any closing because I think this is a good place to fucking end it.
That's good.
Go check out Mega Cosmic Adventure. For the love of fucking God, we need more listeners. We don't need listeners. It's not like real first world problem. It's not like we're
people
chimps.
to check it out for sure.
Yeah, Mega Cosmic Adventure. A lot of time and effort goes into that, so I appreciate it. There's gonna be merch coming out. I'm wearing one of the pieces right now. Look at that, death metal. Nice. I decided to make a death metal thing because I don't know if I would wear a shirt that says Mega Cosmic Adventure on it unless I could hide it in a fucking design, you know?
It actually looks pretty cool. Yeah, I like it.
It's pretty cool. I'm gonna get you guys them. Nice. I was just trying to build up the designs and then figure out what you guys wanted. But yeah, Mega Cosmic Adventure. It's a free fantasy. I can't say it's science fiction because there's no real science in it.
I mean, there's all kinds of science. It's just weird science.
I was calling it a science fiction thing, but it's like it's not like space.
It's
really.
Definitely fantasy meets science fiction.
Do you know the most science fiction thing was when we were like, we need to get off this planet, like
for no fucking reason.
For no reason, and it's like there's still discussion of like we live on different planets, but like, do we know? Do we really fucking know?
I have no idea.
I don't know what's coming. I know. We've got two chapters remaining in this book, but and I know where that's going, and I'm kind of keeping everybody on track, especially on the last one. I was like, we have to do this because, which makes it not so improvised if you think about it. But we need to fucking end it because I'm kind of losing my mind with it. I love it.
We need a closing to the current situation we're in so that we can move on.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Move on in life, and
because the adventure could just fucking continue
forever.
We're just on a lot. We're just living those lives.
If ChatGPT has anything to do with it, now that it's involved in like the backstory, it would go on forever. There's 2,500 years of fucking history that I didn't even know existed when I started talking to it. It's like, what the fuck? The introduction of like the show starts where we're like, and halfway through the series we actually meet the guy that's oppressing the whole land, but like it's like this fucking ChatGPT knew that it like where he came from and everything. It's like, what the fuck, man? This is crazy. How does this robot know? Maybe we came from AI. Now we're just discovering it. It's been here all along. Check out Mega Cosmic Adventure, and then obviously follow this podcast. Give us a rating on Spotify or wherever you listen. It'd help us out immensely in the growing, which is happening. People are finding out about it. I don't know. I'm not paying for fucking sponsorship for it or like,
Dude,
promotion
it's
of it.
Word of mouth, and it's just people scrolling so deep into the algorithms that they find it.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
On that, it's like there could be people listening, and I'm sure that listen to it because they hate it. You can't look away from shit that's so negative or whatever.
I gotta hear the stupid shit this guy says next.
Yeah, and they keep listening, and they're like, man, fuck this guy, and fuck his friends, and fuck all these people. But it brings up something about social media and the way, like, you've seen, everyone listening probably has seen how there's a lot of negativity and everybody talks about it. And all of these people that make these, not so much us, but like I talk about it sometimes because there's some comments that come through is like, what the fuck, dude? He just like, it's like this person knows me.
Angry.
And they don't, a lot of people don't get that this is like a lot of the stuff that I say when I'm talking shit is about myself. It's a lot of irony, which is like I put irony hashtag all this stuff because memes and shit, I make fun of myself sometimes, self-deprecating humor. But all these people on there are like making videos about like, oh, everybody's so negative and blah blah. It's like you're not gonna have half of the fucking people that follow your shit if you don't have negativity. So there's a positive to that.
Yep.
You have to have the negative so that people can talk shit and tell their friends so that it grows. So if you want to do that, like talk shit about the podcast or whatever, just fucking do it and then it'll grow. I don't care.
Just don't get upset when we talk shit back.
Yeah, because that'll happen, and then Instagram will have to step in, as we've seen in the past, where we're laughing our asses off talking shit back because we want this person to keep going to grow the algorithm, and then they report us like, you fucking weak bitch. You weak ass bitch. You gonna talk shit, keep it up.
And then I get shadow banned. This is bullshit.
Yeah, dude. You did too. We both talk shit to bots that are on there, like these Russian bots that are just doing dumb comments or whatever. Man, and we get banned.
What's even worse is like
they're fake people.
I
can't hurt its feelings.
I've commented on threads before and I try to say something in a way that isn't going to get me banned. And then some other random person will come in and have, you know, a differing opinion from me. And they'll talk all kinds of shit, throwing fucking curse words and, you know, dropping F-bombs and calling me faggot, like all kinds of like derogatory things. And I'm like, whoa, this person's angry. I don't get upset about it, but I'm like, wow. But then I go to type something back because I want to talk shit because it's fun. And I try to say like cunt or something. And I press send. And Instagram says, nope, can't say that. Yeah. We're not going to let you post it.
One of the recent...
How the fuck can they post it, but I can't? It doesn't make any sense.
One of the recent ones that I saw, which is the most wild, you can't call somebody a liar on there.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's probably has to do with all that misinformation that was being put out by the people that were saying everybody, like, we have to stop misinformation, but they're actually lying to everybody out there. So you can't call people liars now. You have to mask that. You can't say liar. Because I was looking at a random post or whatever, and this dude made a comment, and he's like, I would say, he wrote this whole thing, and he said, by the way, at the end of his comment, he's like, by the way, I had to change the way liar is, because he's explaining himself. Nobody would have even thought about it. He spelled liar with a dash and stuff like that. He's like, because I got flagged for it and told me I had to remove the comment for liar, because he said nothing else in there about like any negative thing, and he said these people are liars, and he's like, I masked that because like Instagram said I had to remove the comment. They couldn't even let me change it. You know, you've seen that too, where it's like you can't even alter a post to be correct. Yeah, that you have to delete it.
So I'm gonna give a little bit of a premise behind one of these comments that I tried to say yesterday. Okay, has to do with the UFC fights from last night. Dustin Poirier knocked out Benoit Saint Denis, who's a Frenchman. Yeah. And I was in a comment thread trying to say something, and there was a French guy. He was talking shit about Dustin Poirier and said all kinds of like derogatory things. And I was like, well, this guy clearly got those through the algorithm, you know, France, whatever, and making fun of Americans. So I went in and I said, as simple as this, silly Frenchman. And it did not let me post it.
Oh my God.
Silly Frenchman, because I was making fun of Frenchmen. It's like Instagram was like, nope, you can't do that. No. That's wild, because they could say all kinds of shit about Americans. I got thick skin. You can say whatever the fuck you want, but I try to say silly Frenchman, and it just blew up.
Speaking of silly Frenchmen, what are your take on this whole Jake Paul? As much as I can't stand that whole group, because they're all tied together, like every fucking influencer that's in Los Angeles. I mean, they're in Puerto Rico, right? But that whole group of people that came out of, you know, Disney kids or whatever.
Well, so back to the other thing real quick. To mask my silly Frenchman, I just called him a quiche. And quiche or a baguette.
And they let it.
and it went through. So just use French foods.
It's probably worse to call somebody a term like a food.
You silly baguette.
Yeah. That could be taken a bunch of way. I'm sure that's, if you think about it, because it's not, to me, I'm like, oh, whatever, but it's like worse than calling somebody a Frenchman just straight out, because that's what they are.
Yeah, exactly. But the Jake Paul thing, man, Jake Paul comes out saying he and Mike Tyson are going to be fighting. So Mike Tyson is going to be 60 very soon. And it wasn't 2 years ago when he was in a wheelchair saying, I can't fight anymore because my sciatica and my back and all kinds of stuff is wrong with me. I feel like I'm going to die soon. He literally said that. I feel like I'm going to die when I'm 60. The dude's about to turn 60. So Jake Paul's like rubbing his hands together. I need to get this last one in. Get Mike Tyson, and I'll make some money. So Mike Tyson isn't going to say no, because it's fucking Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
You know, he'll fight anything. He'll fight a fucking gorilla. He's said it.
Yeah.
The problem is all the people that Jake Paul has fought, he thinks he's like this elite boxer, and he's a very popular boxer. Absolutely.
Yes, probably the most popular. Right now, at least.
He is not an elite boxer. The one professional boxer that he's fought, active professional boxer he's fought, he lost to in a decision. Tommy Fury.
Which is kind of weird, because it was like pretty close, right, from what I understood.
Yeah, and it wasn't a very exciting fight either.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not saying that Jake Paul's not talented in boxing.
No, the dude can box better than most average people.
Yeah.
Of course, because he's not, he's actually practicing in boxing. Like if I tried to box Jake Paul, he'd probably knock me out because I'm not practicing boxing.
Yeah.
But if I took a few years and I could probably
Have
box
a shot.
with him, I'd have a shot. But the problem is, like, Jake Paul has made his career off boxing retired MMA fighters and people that are above the age of 35, So he's boxing MMA fighters like Ben Askren, who was 39 years old. He fought.
Who generally, these people aren't strikers.
Ben Askren's a wrestler.
Yeah.
Like his whole career, he's just known for wrestling. In his college days, he was a wrestler. He wasn't a boxer.
Yeah.
If you saw his MMA fights and you saw him throw a punch, you'd be like, wow, Jake Paul fought that guy? That guy can't even throw a punch.
Yeah.
Tyrone Woodley. Tyrone Woodley was a champion in MMA. Extremely well-rounded skill set when it came to MMA. But you throw him in a boxing ring, the footwork's different, everything's different, okay? He lost a decision in the first fight, gets knocked out in the second fight. You can call it a fluke, you can call it a setup, you can call it whatever you want. The problem is Tyrone Woodley, 39 years old. You get Anderson Silva, 48 years old when he fought Jake Paul. Like, the dude's starting to fight grandpas. He fought, 40, 50, and
older.
now a 60-year-old.
Right?
He's just getting up this chain of older people. And I don't know how old Jake Paul is, probably like 28, 29.
Yeah,
something like
less
that.
than that, I think.
And he's just like, oh, I'm going to take on these legends, right? He's using the word legends. But the problem is these legends are way past their prime.
I think people would be more accepting of it and not like think this is all a joke or whatever, because he talks about wanting to be a champion one day. It's like, but you're not in sort of any way to be a champion. Like, what's through his promotion company? What's he gonna do? Make his own belt?
Yes,
it's like
exactly.
You can't. It's like you can't become a champion by fighting these fucking they're pay-per-views and all this stuff.
Yeah,
but you're like,
they're
what? You're not
fights, basically.
What is it? I'm not too smart on this, but is it a league or whatever? What are they
you
called?
have to have these boxing federations.
Yeah, he's
right?
not a part of that, so you can't.
Here's the thing: like you're spot on with what you're saying. There are so many boxing federations that all he has to do is create his own, and then boom, there's a belt.
Yeah,
he can do whatever the fuck he wants because boxing is that widespread. They have so many weight classes and so many different organizations where you can get a belt that you see these boxers carrying around 12 belts because they're a world champion. I've never seen so many world champions in one sport as much as boxing.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But the whole thing about Jake Paul fighting these older and older people, like he just fought last weekend, and the guy that he fought in Puerto Rico was like an Uber driver. People were like making a joke saying he was an Uber driver. I was like, this is bullshit. And then they pulled up the profile of the dude actually was an Uber driver. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, fight an active boxer, Jake Paul. Then I'll be.
Is there anything to the idea of like these active boxers? A part of these have contracts that they can't actually fight. Is that part of like playing devil's advocate? Is that he can't actually fight anybody that's current because?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so because his brother fought Mayweather. Right. Mayweather's not active anymore, but as an exhibition match, and then they came to a draw, surprisingly. I think it's interesting that he refuses to fight any of those people.
Does he refuse, or
I think it's behind the scenes refusal, right? Because I've seen boxers and MMA people call him out that are like legit boxers, and he has no response. But he'll go and he'll call out like people that have retired from MMA. He's like, "Oh, I'll come over to boxing."
Literally
now.
Old enough to go to a retirement home.
Nate Diaz was known for throwing shots in MMA and was never a champion.
But he's
lost
sort of
a lot
retarded.
of fights. He's lost a lot of fights. Now, the thing, Nate Diaz has a cult following. Like, people love Nate Diaz because of his personality. He's a decent fighter. He's not a legend of the sport in a physical aspect. He's not a legend of the sport. He's a legend of the sport for his mannerisms and his attitude. That's why people love him, right? he gets hit a fucking lot in MMA. Like, cut open all the time. And people are like, oh, it's not a Nate Diaz fight if he's not bleeding. I'm like, okay, so that makes me think he's not that great of a fucking fighter because he's getting his face smashed all the time, right?
And you just last through it.
So people are like, oh, he's going to beat Jake Paul easy. And like, he's going to get hit.
Yeah.
That's just how he fights. He gets hit. Yes, he has great cardio. And people are like, oh, if it would have been one more round. There wasn't. There wasn't another round.
Yeah.
You can say that all you want. The dude lost.
You can say if about a lot of things. Yeah, I don't know. I think just because I don't watch this stuff, like I'm not a big UFC. I come to watch fights and stuff like that just to hang out. But I think, and this is from my perspective, I think he claims so much that he's like this great fighter, but he's fighting so many older people, not fighting anybody that's like comparable to him. Like I think if you look at the stats, the on Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, maybe the closest fight he has is Mike Tyson, him being almost 60. If you look at just the lineup of like what they're compared, but he's still fucking way taller than him. His reach is bigger, and Mike Tyson is really like a close fighter. So, but I think the issue is everybody wants to see Jake Paul get fucking knocked out. That's the only reason they watch. And if it was more open about like, we're just trying to make a fuck ton of money, which isn't probably good for promotion. Like you've got to have a polarizing character like him to do that. I think if it was more, they as a group, because it's a business, right? If they were more honest about the fact we're just trying to make a good show and like make as much money as possible, as quickly as possible, I think there wouldn't be such animosity. But in that type of world, as I'm just going around in circles here, you need to have him do that for people to want to watch, because nobody wants to watch.
Yeah, the dude's a genius in his marketing scheme of, I'm going to box all these old wash-ups and people want to see me get knocked out, so I'll just keep doing it. So everybody's going to keep tuning in. So, and there's so many NPCs out there that are just like, yep, I gotta do the same thing over and over and over, and keep thinking he's gonna fucking lose to these wash-ups.
Yeah. What do you think if he beats Mike Tyson? What do you think about just that idea?
He is going to claim that he's the greatest of all time, just because he beat Mike Tyson.
But do you? Because there's been discussion about like he's had 10 fights now, right?
Something like that, yeah.
There's been discussion about like these certain people have taken the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Mike Tyson ever would take a fall just like other people that probably or maybe have with Jake Paul?
No, and I think that's why he's calling out Tyson at this age.
Yeah.
Because the older you get, the less probable your power is going to be there and your stamina is going to be there. So if he would have fought prime Mike Tyson, Tyson would have destroyed him in like 30 seconds. But but
there's no way to do that, right? There's nobody comparable to Mike Tyson.
He's leveling the playing field by taking on an older person, a legit senior citizen.
Yeah.
And if Mike Tyson's still got power. It's Mike Tyson. He's just a freak of nature.
Yeah.
In a good
you
way.
were saying the other day that video was from 4 years ago or something like that.
There's
it's like that's not. I mean, in his age, it's gonna be rapidly easier to fall back into, he's been fighting his whole life, right?
Yeah.
Since he's 16. But I don't think 4 years is enough to discount him. Unlike he's probably
I agree. And I would fucking love, just like everybody else, to see Jake Paul get KO'd by Mike Tyson. It'd be an amazing thing to happen.
Did Mike Tyson lose his last one that was recent?
Yes, I think he did. To
who was it?
Roy Jones Jr.
Okay.
And both of those dudes were, they're senior citizens. Yeah. So it's like,
how'd that fight go? Was he like an animal or?
Nah, I don't. I didn't watch it, but if there was some crazy stuff that happened, I would have seen it, and I didn't. So there's no highlights that caught my eye.
Yeah. Well, shit. They're all a bunch of monkeys in my eye. No, you know what I mean. Just the humans are.
Yes, humans. Humans are monkeys.
That's bad. That probably should be taken out. I didn't mean anything by it. That's your racist mind.
They're all just a bunch of monkeys. God damn.
No, it's like it reminds me of Chimp Empire, where they're all like just battling all the time and fucking hunting other other fucking chimps and monkeys and shit like that.
Yeah, whereas humans have like entertainment by, digital things and equipment that we've created.
Yeah.
What's the chimps' entertainment? Just fighting and
They
eating?
play with each other.
Okay.
Not like how you're thinking or I just thought, playing with each other. No, they wrestle and stuff.
Yeah,
just like
gotcha.
humans do. Like like the kids, they
Yeah.
all fucking like wrestle and bite each other and shit
Yeah,
like
your
that.
parents, when you were a kid, go play outside and
Yeah.
just fucking fight.
And then the teenagers will
build
like
houses.
they'll all be rough and shit, and they'll like wrestle the kids. Just like even the adult chimps, they wrestle and whatever. They're playful.
Yeah.
It's just different. We wouldn't like smash each other. We'd die if we were like beating on each other that way. But they're animals, so
Yeah.
much like we are.
Jacked, man.
Jacked man.
Jacked apes.
Yeah. Well,
Super strong.
this was entertaining. It was
It was.
wild. It was. I was on the edge of my seat. That's much shorter than your seat.
It is much shorter.
But
Foot tall right now.
yeah. Well, thank you for tuning in. If you're on the radio, tuning in the dial. It's a weird thing to say. I don't really like say tune in next week. It's like, shut the fuck up. Who's tuning in? Tuning in is for like TVs from the fucking
You got
60s.
Rabbit ears on your fucking
And
TV.
then when people say big things coming next week, and it's like, oh, you put out a fucking t-shirt. Sweet. Sweet, dudes. You fucking apes. All of you are chimps.
It's such a derogatory sounding thing.
Yeah.
You fucking chimp.
I've got a lot of those. There's a lot of things. I slat. That's one of the ones that nobody really knows. But it's like for me, it's like the N word almost. For
Jeez.
fucking slat, dude. And maybe some people out there know, but it's from my childhood.
Gotcha.
Fucking slat. It's like it's not slut. It's nothing like that. It's like I couldn't even tell you what it means because it doesn't make
It's
sense.
just derogatory.
A slat is a thing on a ventilation shaft or something like that. It's the slat in the thing, but it has nothing to do with that.
Oh.
It's like maybe cum dumpster or something. Maybe it's
Nice.
comparable to that, but it's like I say it pretty infrequently. Like maybe every few years I'll call somebody a slat, and it's like, what did you just say? It's like you don't even fucking know. Maybe I don't either.
Nice.
I've called one of our friends a slat before to his face. Not to his face, but in text. I was like, you're a fucking
You
slat,
fucking
dude.
Slat.
So if you hear that, it's you're never gonna hear anybody else say it but me. But
That's funny.
it's referred to people that are chimps, essentially, but in a much worse term. And that's stupid. Anyway,
Fucking inbred.
thanks for doing this again, man. It's
Yeah,
a good
dude.
time.
Anytime.
We'll do it again. And maybe Brandon will get on the podcast eventually. My buddy Brandon, who plays Jort for short on the Mega Cosmic Adventure, and answer my text messages. If he even is listening to this, that's a direct shot to you, Brandon. You better podcast with me. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Check out Mega Cosmic Adventure. Subscribe on Violent Professional wherever you fucking listen, and give us a good comment so that we can. And don't give us a bad comment, for fuck's sake. That's actually works different than. Give us a good comment. Helps us grow, and we'll see you next time.